Hello everybody, this is your main man Keith here from Keith Plays PS4 927. Happy Tuesday afternoon to all my awesome viewers on this awesome channel. Today we are on the road to Oregon State Capitol in Portland for the next 2 games, and if we win both of those games, we sweep the Trailblazers. If Portland wins either today's or next episode's game, there will be a game 5, and I think it will probably be in Denver if I'm not mistaken. So we won both of the last 2 episodes. Nikola Jokic was your MVP for both episodes. I will have the links to the videos in the description if you guys want to check those episodes out if you have not already. So I can't wait for the finals. That's a long ways away. And if we make the finals, our projected opponent will be the New York Knicks. So without further ado, we'll show you in the uniforms, and we'll see you guys at tip-off. Alright, so Denver is going to be wearing their navy blue icon uniforms on the road. Meanwhile, for the Portland Trailblazers, they're going to be wearing their red statement uniforms at home today. And we are in the Moda Center in Portland, Oregon, so we'll see you at tip-off. Alright, it is tip-off time here in Portland, Oregon. So the Portland Trailblazers win the tip-off. So Damian Lillard going to pass this off to Eric Bledsoe. Eric Bledsoe losing the basketball. Will Barton going to pass that off to Nikola Jokic to dunk that in. So it's a 2-0 Denver lead. Damian Lillard going to pass that off to Eric Bledsoe. So now Eric Bledsoe is going to pass that to Lillard. Eric Bledsoe will pick up the assist for Portland. And now Nikola Jokic losing the basketball. It is going to pass it to Justice Winslow. Gets that in there. So it's now 4-2 Portland. So we're going to pass it off to Jeff Green. So now Jeff Green's going to knock down a 3 from downtown. So it's now going to be 5-4 here in the Moda Center in Portland. So now they're going to pass it off to Dame Time Lillard. They're going to pass it off to Eric Bledsoe. Lillard is going to pick up the assist there for Portland. So now we're going to pass it off to Frank Campazano, and he passes that to Aaron Gordon with the slam dunk. Aaron Gordon getting his first 2 points in the paint today. So now Eric Bledsoe with the possession, losing basketball, picking it back up for Portland. So now Portland, what are they trying to convey? They're going to try to convey to get a layup in there. So it's now 8-7 here in Portland. So now Nikola Jokic, who had 62 points in the very first episode, knocks down a 3 for the Denver Nuggets. So now looks like they're going to pass that to Eric Bledsoe. So Eric Bledsoe, he's going to pass it to Nurkic. And Nurkic passing it off to Lillard. Logo Lillard hitting that 3. So it's now 11-10. Aaron Gordon going to pass that to Nikola Jokic. Gordon with the assist, as it's now going to be 12-11. So this has been a really fast scoring first quarter along the lines. Damian Lillard, he's going to do a nice spin move for Portland. So what is Portland going to do? Passing it to Hart, and then to Nurkic, gets that in there. So it's now 13-12. Both teams are at 100% in field goal percentage, which is really good. That's what we expect from both teams. I mean, this is the playoffs. Anything could happen. As Jokic makes a dunk there, he had back-to-back dunks last episode in Denver. So now it is Damian Lillard. He is going to knock down a 3 from behind the arc, and it's now going to be a 16-14 Portland lead. So now Will Barton is going to pass that off to Nikola Jokic, and Jokic gets that one in. So it's 11 points for Jokic today, and the rest of the team has scored 5. Jeff Green had a 3-pointer, and it was Aaron Gordon that had a dunk. So now Nikola Jokic picking up that steal for Denver, as it's now going to be 18-16. 13 points for Nikola Jokic, 4 from mid-range for him today. Eric Bledsoe doing a nice spin move. He's going to pass it to Nurkic, and then they're going to knock it down from 3. So it's now going to be 19 to 18. So I'm going to pass it off to Nikola Jokic. Gets that in there, and it's now 20 to 19. And Justice Winslow, the former Miami Heat player, losing the basketball. Jokic picking it up for the Nuggets, gets that layup, so it's now 22-19, and we will actually see you guys after Portland has the possession to end the first. Lillard with a 3, and it's now 22-22. Alright, it is now 22-22 tied up, so now we got Nikola Jokic on the court for Denver, losing the basketball. And Lillard going to pass it off to Ben McLemore. And then Anthony Simons knocks down a 3 for Portland. So actually a 2-pointer. And now Jokic going to get this one in for 2. And it's tied up 24-24. Ben McLemore, by the way, does get the assist. So now Lillard going to pass it off to Watford. Lillard's going to pick up that assist there. And now we got Monte Morris going to pass it off to Nah'Shon Hyland. So Hyland gets that dunk. So now Lillard has possession for Portland. It's Dame time. They're going to do anything they can to win its first game of the series. And now, biggest lead was Portland by 3. Tied 4, and there were 15 lead changes. So now Jeff Green knocks down a 3 for Denver, and it's now 29-29 at the Moda Center. And now it's Anthony Simons' turn to pass that to Lillard, and then passing it back to Simons, who went to the IG Academy down in Bradenton, Florida. Didn't go to college, actually, so I think he might have played a little bit of G League, or probably played out of North America. So now Portland has a foul. So now Nah'Shon Hyland is going to the free throw line once at it. Gets it in there. So it's now tied up 32-32 at the moment. And we are actually going to take a break. Alright, so it's now 35-34 here in Portland. So now Nikola Jokic back in the game, and his break time's over. He has 21 points today, 16 of which were in the paint. Anthony Simons has a charging foul, so this means that this is Denver possession. So now Bryn Forbes, he's going to pass it off to Austin Rivers, the son of current Philadelphia 76ers head coach Austin Rivers, and Joe Ingles, he's going to pass that to Justice Winslow. So now Justice Winslow passing it to Ingles, making that 3 happen. So it is tied up 38-38. So now Austin Rivers going to pass it off to Nikola Jokic. So I think Jokic, we're going to attempt a 3 here, and he knocks it down from behind the arc. So it's now 41-38 with less than a minute to go within the first half. So Anthony Simons passing it to his teammate Simons with the assist. So now Monte Morris, he's going to pass it off to Bryn Forbes, and then Jeff Green knocking down a 3 from behind the arc. So it's now 44-40, and we are close from scoring, well, halfway there from scoring 50. So backcourt violation, Denver has the possession of the basketball. So now it is Nikola Jokic passing it off to Monte Morris, and then Jokic gets that in there for 2. So it's now 46-40. So now it looks like Eric Bledsoe is going to pass it off to Anthony Simons. So Simons, what's he going to do? Passing it off to Nurkic. So Nurkic getting it in there for 2 points. So it's now going to be a 46-42 lead. Now it's going to be 48-42. So Austin Rivers makes that in. So there's 15 seconds to go within the first half, and the ball is out. Anthony Simons making that dunk happen for the Portland Trailblazers. So there's 9 seconds to go. I'm going to pass it off to Nikola Jokic. So now Jokic gets this one in to end the first half. Alright, it's now 50-44. Nikola Jokic with 1 assist, 1 steal, and 28 points. Gonna pass that off to Aaron Gordon. So Aaron Gordon gets that in for 2. So it's now 52-44. Nuggets and T-Blazers, they're both above 80% in field goals today. Denver with 98, Portland with 82. So Eric Bledsoe going to pass it to Justice Winslow, gets it in there. And Portland scores their first points of the second half. Aaron Gordon going to pass that off to the one and only Nikola Jokic in the NBA. Knocks down a 3 from behind the arc. So it's now 55-46. So they're going to pass it off to Damian Lillard. It's Dame time. I call him Logo Lillard. What's Logo Lillard gonna do? Knock down a 3 from behind the arc. It is good. So it's now 55-49. I'm gonna pass it off to Bryn Forbes. So will he actually get this in from 3? No, he will not. And Eric Bledsoe gonna pass it off to Damian Lillard. So Lillard making that dunk for the Portland T-Blazers. So Lillard with 16 points, Nikola Jokic with 31, both scoring leaders for both teams. So Jeff Green with the possession of the basketball, he's going to get this one in for 2. Now it's 57-51. Lillard going to pass it off to Eric Bledsoe. The T-Blazers are taking a timeout. Alright, it's now 62-61. Portland leads it by 1. Will Barton going to pass it off to the one and only Nikola Jokic, gets that in there. So it's now 63-62. Portland is up by 1 point. Damian Lillard with 6 threes today. Will he pass it off to another teammate, or will he just pass it to Lillard automatically and Lillard scoring it in? But now Joe Ingles losing the basketball, going to pass it to Ben McLemore. Joe Ingles making that 3 happen for Portland. He does get that in. So now Monte Morris, I'm going to pass it off to Will Barton, and then Jeff Green, and then Nikola Jokic. There is a foul for Portland. So we are going to the free throw line to get these 2 free throws in and have an opportunity to tie this episode, to tie the game up at this point. 65-65 is the score right now. Damian Lillard going to pass it off to Ben McLemore. And Ben McLemore losing the basketball, picking it back up. So now he's going to pass it off to Damian Lillard. So Lillard, where is he going to shoot this at? He's going to pass it to a teammate. So now Lillard and the T-Blazers are up by 2 points. So Nikola Jokic gets this one in for 2. So it's tied up 67-67. 10.3 seconds to go. They're going to pass it off to Lillard. So now Damian Lillard, he's going to knock down a 3 from behind the arc. He actually misses that. And now it is Nikola Jokic dribbling it out. And it is tied at the end of the third. 67 for both teams. Alright, Damian Lillard hitting a 3 to begin the fourth quarter. I'm going to pass it off to JaMychal Green. So JaMychal Green gets that in there. So it's now 70-69. Biggest lead was Denver by 9. 23 lead changes and 10 ties so far. I think Portland is probably going to end up winning today's episode because of the performances made mostly by Damian Lillard and Anthony Simons making 3s. And CJ McCollum is no longer with the T-Blazers since he moved on going to the Pelicans. So Drew Eubanks with 8 points today. Will he get his 9th point of the game? Yes, he will. It's now 72-69. I'm going to use some JaMychal Green. So now JaMychal Green stepping back, pulling it in from mid-range. So it's now 72-71. So now it is Damian Lillard's turn. Gonna pass that off to Justice Winslow. So Winslow passing it to Lillard. Lillard getting that in the paint there for 2. So it's now 74-71. Monte Morris, he's gonna pass that over. And we're gonna use some Will Barton. Gonna use some Monte Morris, knocking it down from 3. And it's now 74, tied even. And Portland has made 6 more threes than the Denver Nuggets today, mostly due to the fact that Damian Lillard makes them in quite a bit. So we are actually going to take a break. All right, Damian Lillard is your player of the game for the Portland Trailblazers. So they're winning by 5 points here at the Moda Center at home. So I'm going to pass it off to some Nikola Jokic. So Jokic gets this one in for 2. So it's now 78-81. Nikola Jokic with 39 points today, 18 of which were in the paint. So now Anthony Simons making that nice spin move. Where is he going to pass it to? He's going to pass it to Nurkic. And it's now going to be, I'm going to pass it off to Aaron Gordon and then to Michael Porter Jr. So I'm going to try to do a 3-pointer with Michael Porter Jr. Makes that in. So it's now 83-81. So it looks like they're going to pass it off to Eric Bledsoe. So now Anthony Simons, where is he going to pass it to? He's going to pass it to Nurkic. Gets that in there. So it's now 85-81. So I'm going to pass it off to Michael Porter Jr. and then some Nikola Jokic, Will Barton. Going to use some Will Barton to knock down a 3 from behind the arc. Well, yes, behind the arc, but Portland has now possession of the basketball. So it's 85-81 here in Denver, here in Portland. And Anthony Simons, where is he going to shoot this from? Behind the arc as well. So it's 88-81 at this point. All right, Nikola Jokic with the possession of the basketball. There's only 6 seconds to go, and Portland is up by 7. So I'm just going to pass around to Jokic and then Green. And Portland ends up winning the first game of this series. And it's now going to be a 88-81 victory for the Portland Trailblazers. So there will be a Game 5 coming up. So it will be later in the Western Conference first round. So we are going to start statistics off with Portland because they won today's episode. And Damian Lillard, 32 points, 4 assists on the day. He did have a dunk, 8 for 10 from the behind the arc. So Anthony Simons, 15 points, 1 rebound, 4 assists on the day. Had a dunk there. Drew Eubanks had 9 points, 1 steal, and 2 dunks. Yusuf Nurkic had 8 points, 2 assists, 1 steal on the day. And Nikola Jokic, he had 39 points for Denver. 2 rebounds, 2 assists, 1 steal, 2 dunks on the day for him. Jeff Green, 6 points, 1 assist on the day. Aaron Gordon, 8 points as well. 1 rebound, 1 assist, 1 dunk on the day. And JaMychal Green, 7 points for him today. Nah'Shon Hyland had 5 points, 2 rebounds, 1 assist on the day. Had a dunk there. Austin Rivers with 4 points in all. So that wraps it up, everybody. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Please stay tuned, and we'll see you in the next episode.